Our channel's been a little dead for a while, so we decided to make a negative video where we talk shit about some books that we haven't even finished. This is a DNF video because the internet loves negativity and spilling the tea, as it were. There's a seagull going crazy outside the window. Let's get going. Welcome back to StoryTube.
Do you want some Baileys in your coffee?
Yes. Oh, you were generous. Right, let's talk some shit about... Oh, she's not back yet. We have 2 new releases each. Well, one of mine is just a new-ish book. It's new now because it's very popular now. Anyway, no introduction. We're going to talk about 2 shit books each that we think are shit. And
because it's black and white, it's either amazing or it's garbage. There's no in between.
Objectivity shitness.
Shitty objectivity.
Shitty. No, that's okay. In our wrap-ups, generally, we talk about the books that we read. Sometimes we don't necessarily talk about our DNFs, books we don't fucking finish. So this video will just be us dishing a bit of tea on 2 books each that we've recently DNF'd and we think are fucking pants. So
it kind of came about because we bought and tried 3 of these books within like 2 days of each other. And it was just, we were excited to buy these new books by authors that we've read before. And we were like, oh, no, not feeling this one. Oh, shit, not feeling this one either.
And sometimes that's a frustrating experience when you go and you buy, oh, I want to try this new release, or I want to try this new thing, this new fad. And then it turns out to be
shit.
Tripe. One of my favorite books in recent memory is, surprisingly, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I think is just an amazing book. It's not any particular kind of genre. It's just, I found it to be one of those books, those books that just fucking sweep you away and whisk you away and tell you a great story with characters you love and characters you hate, and you cannot stop turning the pages. And by the time you get to the end of that book, you feel a fulfillment, a satisfaction, a bittersweet feeling because it's over. You wanted more of it. Well, Taylor Jenkins Reid didn't accomplish that with Atmosphere. This was shit. Atmosphere was a book I was excited for because I like space, and I like, seemingly, I think, like the way Taylor Jenkins Reid writes, at least in that one book that I like. And I also, one of my favorite TV shows at the moment, actually, if not my favorite current TV show currently airing, is For All Mankind, which
yes.
Season 1 has the early days of NASA. It's an alternate history show, but it also has some female astronaut training, and those early episodes are just really, really fun and very authentic and kind of appreciative and respectful of that. I think NASA is a good thing. Let's just say that my personal belief is that I think NASA is one of the best things that America has ever done. And I have a lot of respect for astronauts, for the scientists that are explorers, adventurers, and they want to push further and go out there and explore the unexplored. And I think all of the feats of engineering that they accomplish, that astronauts in general accomplish, are really amazing and to be admired. And I have admired this my whole life. Taylor Jenkins Reid has admired this for about 5 minutes and decided to write a fucking book. She probably watched For All Mankind, read the infinitely superior Calculating Stars, which is part of the Lady Astronaut trilogy, and then decided, I'm going to write this, but I'm going to make it a nice fluffy romance. And not even the romance was good, really. Some of the dialogue was fine. I was getting involved. I was liking it. Oh, by the way, this is what I've learned is sapphic romance. A gay romance between 2 women. Cool. I was in for this, especially in the astronaut setting. I was like, that sounds interesting. However, this book just completely fell apart with some cringy dialogue towards the middle and cringy dynamic between the two women falling in love, and also a complete lack of authenticity and care for the science and the space stuff and the exploration. There were actual lines of dialogue that felt like just some, child saying, "Oh my god, space is so cool." But this character is supposed to be this really competent, highly trained engineer, aerospace engineer, and she says shit like, "But just the stars are so cool." And I'm like, what the fuck am I reading? What is this shit? And I wanted the only saving grace of this book to be the romance, because I enjoy the romance that she writes. Oh, that might spoil Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I don't want to spoil Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. If you haven't read it, go read it. It's amazing. And the romance that she writes in that is this sort of slow burn reveal of romance, kind of hidden, that they bury. And she writes it really organically. This is pish.
Is it a bit insta-lovey?
It's a bit, well, we have to do this now because it's a romance book. It doesn't feel like a natural part of the story. And honestly, none of the dialogue felt very authentic either. Early dialogue was okay, and I was reading it quickly. It started off really well for the first 50 pages, I think. I don't know if she did enough research or really put enough care into the science part. And I don't actually know if she really had a story there to tell to get me involved in that romance. So that's Atmosphere. So I dropped it at about 150 pages. And disappointed me because I thought that Taylor Jenkins Reid was going to be a really reliable author.
Like a new favourite author kind of thing.
Yeah, just one of those authors that writes contemporary fiction that just really just transports you into a compelling story. That kind of storytelling that I feel is it's old school storytelling, just really, really great. Plot, characters, you learn something along the way, you go on a journey. This was crap. If you happen to like Atmosphere or have read it recently and this offends you in any way, I sincerely apologize. I am not trying to diss romance books in general. I've read romance I really like. I don't really think of Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo as a romance book in terms of that genre. I kind of just think of it as a book. But I've read somebody like Emily Henry, Happy Place, which I think is an excellent book. So it's not the fact that I'm, sort of outside my wheelhouse at all. I just felt like this one felt a little more empty, a little more vapid, a little more, we're going to hit these beats. I'm going to decide to write about this topic because I watched the season of For All Mankind and I read Lady Astronaut and I thought, hey, these people are cool. I like space. I don't know. I felt a lack of respect because the main character is supposed to be this really exceptional aerospace engineer and just didn't talk like it at all. Also, the two characters, while preparing for the most important mission journey of their lives, are just constantly worried about shit that grown adults wouldn't be worried about. Did you see who Susie slept with last night? Who cares? Who cares? Or they'd walk into the bar and be like, ooh, he's acting a little weird. Oh, fuck off. What are you in high school? Like, these are aerospace engineers preparing to go to the fucking moon. What is going on? If you watched our Tubies last year, our award show for our books of the year, we had a little skit that we made where we introduced a button that we're now going to debut in a regular video. This was inspired by our great friend Jimmy from the Fantasy Nutwork, who has a nut button. And I am going to christen this book and this channel with this button right now. This book was bullshit.
That was bullshit.
Bullshit.
Warning, warning, bullshit alert. Bullshit detected. Bullshit in aisle 2.
When I was a teenager, I was really into a trilogy of YA books. And the first one was called Shiver. I don't remember what the series name was. But if you've read Shiver, please let me know, because I feel like that's a criminally underrated trilogy of YA from that like paranormal romance YA era.
Post-Twilight.
Post-Twilight. I loved those books, but the author, Maggie Stiefvater, was better known as for The Raven Cycle, which, look, I have a skewed perception of like how big it was. It was really, really big on Tumblr. So I don't know how much of the mainstream it reached.
Yas, queen.
I actually never read those, but I do have the first one, so someday I will. Maybe sooner rather than later, because I was really excited to see that Maggie Stiefvater, I don't know how you would say it in English, I'm sorry, it's a German surname, but she's American.
Steve Vader.
Okay, I can't say that. I can't make myself say that. She just came out with her first adult fiction book, which excited me greatly and then proceeded to disappoint me greatly. And that is The Listeners. Now, this was not so much bad as it was just fucking boring. And I wasn't expecting something action-packed, because Shiver was pretty slow and just like this really nice atmospheric prose. And this does do that, but it's still fucking boring. I gave this book 140 pages, and to give you an idea...
More than enough.
More than enough. It's not that long of a book. The font is really big. Now, to give you an idea, it's set at the beginning of the US's involvement in World War II in like the 1940s, and all of these diplomats from Axis powers that are on US soil get shipped into luxury hotels. And the idea is to keep them essentially as prisoners, but to also show that they're being treated really well, so that their countries don't retaliate against US diplomats that happen to be over there. And this is based on like true facts, like that did happen. And we're in one of those hotels, and the main character is the manager of that hotel that suddenly has to deal with all of these diplomats, Nazi diplomats, a lot of them, being like shipped into her hotel. And there's intrigue, political intrigue, a love story, some magic going on with the hotel. All of this I know from the back of the book, because 140 pages in, the only thing that has happened is that the diplomats arrive at the hotel. Now, sure, we can have a long setup, but come on. At this point, I'm not attached to the hotel. I'm not really attached to the main character. She's like mildly interesting to begin with, but then we don't get anything more in 140 pages. So even though the writing was nice and it did kind of succeed at creating a vibe, it was just not enough. It was not enough. And about 100 pages in, I started to be like, okay, now, like, come on. And it continued to just not do anything. You know that meme of like the person with a stick going like, do something? That's what it felt like reading this book. Just like fucking do something. Please. Please don't be dead. It's dead. It's really boring. Which is very unfortunate, because I was excited for her adult debut and a different genre-ish. But I guess I'll just have to go back to Tumblr's old favourite and read The Raven Boys if I want more of her writing. Very disappointed, but also excited to get to say,
Bullshit in aisle 2.
I don't want to offend Fantasy Booktube right now, really. Please remember that this is just my opinion. But I think Dungeon Crawler Carl is trash. The next book I'm talking about, obviously, I gave the Dungeon Crawler Carl audio book a shot. Just out of curiosity. It's the biggest thing on BookTube and the internet right now in fantasy circles. And this isn't generally something that gets to me, this sort of FOMO or anything like that. But I was curious about what is this thing that is capturing everybody's imagination? And I don't want to, inherently dismiss anything without giving it a shot. It didn't necessarily sound like something I'd be into. This lit RPG business is still something I can't really wrap my head around. I would rather just play a game, which sounds like probably something a fantasy fan would think is something a casual would say. You're absolutely right, I'm a casual. I don't think lit RPG is going to be for me. If Dungeon Crawler Carl is the best this genre has to offer, yep, not for me. This book is crap. Really cool premise, the sort of underground, the tunnel with the crawlers and this sort of end of the world shit. Sounds really cool. And then they're like sort of going through levels of whatever. It sounds cool, but I think I would rather just play this thing as a game. But other than that, maybe this could have worked had I physically read it. The audiobook was insufferable. I found the narrator insufferable. I found the comedic timing insufferable. It felt like a self-important, I know I'm funny, smarmy. Oh, I can't say the Americans don't like that.
I think they don't like anything that you just said, so that's fine.
Yeah. I don't like the main character. I found the cat reasonably charming as a character, but it felt like one of these characters that the writer was like, oh, the internet's gonna love this character. It's a talking sassy cat.
Oh, like
rather
the
than
little
a
cute creature in a Disney movie?
Yeah, rather than not really, more like a little smart ass, But it all just felt manufactured, It didn't feel authentic in any way. I swear to God, if I hear one more new achievement, you have unlocked a giant list of shit I don't give a shit about, I think I would have done something to myself. It was overall an insufferable experience. New achievement, you have unlocked not trying lit RPG ever again. And I think Dungeon Crawler Carl for me, while I wish all of you crawlers well on your journeys, I'm glad that it does work for a lot of people. It's not for me. Don't take this video too seriously. I don't take this or myself or these books too seriously. It's all just in good fun. I don't want to offend anybody. It's just my thoughts. But I think this book is bullshit. We tried a fad, I tried an internet craze at the moment, and we used to be in a little sci-fi fantasy book club at our former place of work as well, where some of the people in there were absolute super fans of this series. So I was just curious about what's going on. But I do tend to not necessarily respond in the same way to things that people are like super fans of. Mm-hmm. And I get this with anything really. Like I'm a comics fan. I like Marvel comics, DC comics, like superhero comics, but like the super fans fucking scare me. And I tend to read things in a different way to those people that I've interacted with, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I don't necessarily get what they get out of it. So I guess I was just sort of given something a go, and I had an experience I expected, but I wanted to like it. but it wasn't necessarily a shock. So, but this is what we do. We curate what we want to read. You pick out things that you eye up and you think, oh, I might like that. But I try not to dismiss things that might be outside of that. You see this on our channel. We read fairly broadly, a wide range of genres. But even at that, you still kind of stick to things you know you'll probably like, you know? Anyway, that's just me softening the blow of saying that Dungeon Crawler Carl is a heap of shite, lads.
One more book for this video. Another author that maybe a bit like you were saying about Taylor Jenkins Reid, I thought might become a really reliable, potentially favorite author for me, who came out with a new book, or at least the translation is new, and that is Fredrik Backman. And the book is My Friends. Fredrik Backman is quite a popular author on BookTube, but he seems to also be polarizing, or have the potential to be polarizing. And I think everything that gets very popular will elicit that, because more people will pick it up. Like you were just saying about Dungeon Crawler Carl, like it's something that you might not think is for you, but you pick it up because it's so popular. So it does make sense. But something that I've heard is that people that don't like him find that the writing grates on them, or they find it maybe a bit arrogant or annoying. And I didn't find that at all with A Man Called Ove. I loved that book so much. I also loved Beartown. I did notice the writing a little bit more like stylized in Beartown. Maybe because with A Man Called Ove, I thought that it was the character's narration, versus in Beartown, where you could kind of feel the narrator is very present, and it is kind of this sort of omniscient narrator. But I still loved Beartown. It didn't bother me. I just noticed it a bit more. And My Friends has a really intriguing premise that sounded like I would absolutely love it. It's about this teenage girl who's obsessed with a painting of a lake, and you see like 3 little people in a corner or something, or the background of the painting. And then we have her story kind of chasing after that lake, versus the past and the story of those 3 people in the painting. And it's about like the power of art and friendship, and like that's the kind of the pitch for it. So I saw Fredrik Backman, I read the back of the book, and I said, fuck yes, this sounds amazing. Lads, I read 20 pages. Oh my God. Like, even just, I should have read the first page in the bookshop, and if I had, I might have not bought it. But I've read 2 of his books that I loved, so I didn't. And then I read it when I got home, and even just the first page, I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I love this. But fine. I kept going, and it was just too much. The writing grated on me so much. I got this sense of superiority, kind of like what you were saying, but slightly different, in a different way. But that he's just kind of like...
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yeah, like...
I found Dungeon Crawler Carl, and this is not a generalization of all of American comedy or American humor, but there was a specific type of smarm that is prevalent in some American comedy that I really dislike. Yeah. And people told me, oh, you'll probably like Dungeon Crawler Carl because you're a funny person, or you're a silly person. There is a difference in a sort of silliness and having a sense of humor while not taking oneself seriously. And there's a silliness and a humor while one takes oneself very fucking seriously. Mm-hmm. And it kind of sounds like this is maybe trying to be a little clever, but taking himself too seriously. Yes, so less so in terms of humor, but style, in the style, in the attitude. It's an attitude thing. Like, I felt like he thinks he's the shit, and he's like really smart. Yeah. And like every line is trying to be like it's a one-liner and like punchy and clever, and it just grated on me a lot. As an example, right? The first paragraph, it's 5 lines, is Louisa is a teenager, the best kind of human. The evidence for this is very simple.
Little children think teenagers are the best humans, and teenagers think teenagers are the best humans. The only people who don't think that teenagers are the best humans are adults, which is obviously because adults are the worst kind of humans. Okay, he's trying to be funny and clever and is neither. Because what is he actually saying? That is a stupid statement with no actual substance. Like, what is the substance, you know? He's trying to trick you into thinking that there's something interesting that he's saying there. It's nothing interesting. It's in no way telling us anything about the story or kickstarting the story or being interesting in terms of like character or plot. And it's also just like not true. Would you say that it's like something that you could generalize, that children generally think teenagers are the coolest? No. Do you think that teenagers generally think teenagers are the coolest? Not necessarily. A lot of teenagers hate themselves.
I would say the vast majority.
Yeah. So that just didn't start well, and the whole 20 pages that I gave this book are exactly like that, and it annoyed me so much. I only gave it 20 pages because it's Frederick Backman, and I loved A Man Called Ove in Beartown. Otherwise, I would have given it a paragraph and not fucking bought it. And I think this is how people that don't like Backman must feel about all of his books. And now I'm wondering, is it because it's more heightened in this one and I've noticed it more? Or is it a progression that the more I read of him, the less I like him, and I should just stop reading him and count my blessings and just remember that I loved those other two books? I'm unsure. Is this like small doses? Is it just something that really worked for A Man Called Ove? I do think in Beartown he's not trying to be as funny. He does have the trying to be clever thing a little bit, which I didn't love. But I think it's the fact that he's also trying to be like funny. I don't know. I didn't like it at all. I did not like it at all. It actually aggravated me. It grated on me so much. This is the other one, you know what, The Listeners is fine, just boring, a bit bland, just didn't quite accomplish the like, you know, magic that it was looking for and that I know she's capable of. This one,
Oh, shit.
We will get back to making regularly scheduled videos.
Yes.
We have a few reviews on the back burner that we may or may not film. We've been very busy this year, honestly. This was just something that we could throw together, have a good time, and see if you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did enjoy it, we could, you know, make more videos where we talk about the stuff that we drop or we don't like. We tend to not get very negative on the channel. Just, it's not all that fun to do so often, but video like this every once in a while is a little fun. So there you go.
it was also the fact that bar Dungeon Crawler Carl, the other three books are by authors that we think are good authors, that are capable of writing good books. So it's not like we're dissing the authors. It's just extra disappointing that we were excited about reading one of their books, a new one, and then being like, ah, fuck.
Well, like, you know, Dungeon Crawler Carl, what's his name? Matt Dinneman, clearly doing something right for a lot of people, so.
Oh, of course. It just means you hadn't read him before.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like it's your, you know.
But also, it was the little idea that we had as well of, like, we had purposely gone out and bought, like, 3 new releases. I know Dungeon Crawler Carl is a couple of years old, but, like, in my brain, this book is brand new. But these other ones were like brand new releases, so we thought, oh cool, let's read these new releases the day you get them, and then none of them worked, which we just thought was curious. So anyway, to wrap up this video, all of these books are shit. If you've read these books and you also think they're shit, comment down below, give the video a like. If you think these books are great, tell us why in the comments. If we have offended you in any way, feel free to dislike the video. And we'll see you soon.
That was bullshit.